A light rail trolley moves alongside a city street. Our view soars over downtown Denver skyscrapers. In a park, people walk and ride bikes. The American flag waves in front of the Colorado State Capitol building. A guide dog lies at the foot of its owner, who sits on a park bench. A man holds his navigation cane as he enters a car. At dusk, golden lights brighten the sky. Now portraits of people with varying abilities.
There's no reason for the unemployment rate of people who are blind and visually impaired to be 81%.
Opportunities for the blind aren't really there. People don't think that you can actually do a tech job.
There's no golden age for employment for people with disabilities.
A title in white letters on black appears: The Greatest Equalizer. The sky brightens over Denver, where tree-lined avenues spread from the city center. Blind Institute of Technology Executive Director and Founder Mike Hess.
If you think about growing up, hearing this language oh, you don't have to worry about it because the government's going to take care of you, or you don't have to, you should just be X. There's this mediocrity that is associated with the disability community.
Christy Schenderline.
One of the things that people don't like to talk, it makes people squeamish, is the fact that the disability community is a community that every single person can become in the next second. Every single person could walk out this door and get hit by a bus. I've known people who've woken up and they're blind. Anything can happen to you. You've got some gene that nobody knows about. Next thing you know, the next morning you wake up and you don't have the use of your arms.
At home, Christy prepares for her day, then grabs her navigation cane and goes outside.
Does that mean that the knowledge that you have in your brain is gone? Just because all of a sudden you lost your sight, or all of a sudden you lost, the use of your arms, or you can't hear? It doesn't mean that it goes away. What it means is that you have to fine tune it. You have to learn what technology is out there to help you to do the things that you took for granted before.
Kristen Smedley, co-founder Thriving Blind Academy.
Look, blindness is not the problem. Blindness is not the burden. It's inaccessibility. You don't gotta fix blindness. You have to fix the inaccessibility. The systems in our society are not built to foster success in a world if you don't have sight. My son, Michael, when he started in kindergarten at the top school in our state, I handpicked the top school in our state. They set his goals to be at 70% of what the sighted kids were going to achieve at 100%. And they said to me, Kristen, he's blind. 70% is great for him. And I said, 70% doesn't work for Michael. If he's not achieving at 100%, it is our strategies teaching him that are not working. Michael went on to out-achieve everyone in his elementary school, in his middle school. He was valedictorian at his high school, and then he went to Penn State University and landed in the top 0.5% of 10,000 graduates. In the very beginning, I didn't know what they were going to be able to do. So I made a commitment to them, and I said, listen, I'm going to get you what you need, and I'm going to follow your lead. And they have led me to extraordinary places.
Senior Accessibility Quality Engineering Lead, Jeffrey Ritz.
I spent most of my life, basically being underemployed. Oftentimes working for people that I had trained. So it's okay, what's wrong with this picture? I trained these guys, now I'm working for them. Unfortunately, in Orlando, Florida, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for web design type work, and the few that there were, they couldn't wrap their head around the fact that a visually impaired person can work with code just as well as anyone else. So as a result, I spent another 9 years teaching myself things that I would use in web accessibility to keep my skills sharp and up to date. I got connected up with Mike. He helped me get my foot in the door.
Salesforce Administrator, Rain Clark.
Employers are anxious about hiring people with disabilities. Is the system going to be accessible? And in the end, we have to sometimes forget about those questions in order to realize that there are people out there who are outside the box thinkers, who are extremely creative, who are natural problem solvers because of the life they have spent having a disability. BIT and Salesforce have a very symbiotic relationship. There is a very high need for skilled professionals in the Salesforce ecosystem, and so BIT is a workforce development partner. So we provide that talent, And Salesforce for us is a partner in accessibility, making sure that the system is accessible as much as it can be for those that we teach and we train to become professionals. There is another component though, and that is outreach from organizations. So whether that is disability organizations, BIT itself, or Salesforce is advocating for a diverse workforce, including people with disabilities, that is a huge way that the word gets out there.
Hundreds gather at BIT's 9 3/4 anniversary event in Denver. At each gala, BIT honors a diversity, equity, and inclusion leader. In 2022, BIT celebrated Senior Manager for People with Disabilities, Sarah Mark.
When I started, I had the mission of creating a workforce development program that was external facing, ensuring that all the jobs that are created because of Salesforce out in the ecosystem with our customers and partners, that those jobs are accessible to people with disabilities.
Sarah steps to a podium.
In the beginning of COVID, it was a really tricky time to start launching a new cutting edge program.
Sarah speaks at the gala.
So I started off reaching out to a bunch of people and finally got myself connected with Mike at the Blind Institute of Technology, BIT.
Mike speaks at the gala.
And we started talking, and he told me that he had already run a training program for blind and low vision people to become certified Salesforce admins. And he had already done that on a virtual learning environment, which was pretty advanced because everyone was just getting started with doing everything on Zoom. And the fact that he had already run that program once and was confident that he could continue and grow and scale that program made him a really good first partner for us.
Mike Hess.
With the Salesforce platform, not a Salesforce platform that's uniquely designed for a blind person, the same Salesforce platform that is everywhere, that's ubiquitous, that I can put that training, that platform in front of somebody in another country. We're able to get completely blind individuals from across the globe completely trained, completely certified, and working on that platform like never done before.
BIT employees use laptops and cell phones with screen readers, braille displays, and other peripherals.
233-3-55606. To verify minor.htlisemployment.org using Edge on Windows 10.
Salesforce technical writer of accessibility content, Kayla Campfield.
So pretty much day-to-day, my role at Salesforce is to ensure that our content is accessible and that our paths to careers at Salesforce are accessible to people with disabilities, whatever assistive technology they might be using. Later on, actually in 2020, my role changed and I actually started teaching the Salesforce admin class for BIT. So some of the members on the team, like Rain and Airtie, were actually my students. I learned Salesforce and got my certification alongside Rebecca. So it's been a really integrated journey between Salesforce and BIT. I think becoming part of the BIT family, and they always call it the BIT family, because it's more than just classes and workshops. You're more than just, a job seeker or a number on the page to BIT.
A man leans in close as he uses a laptop.
We've seen over the years, take someone like Rebecca Letter, for example, who was a student in the Salesforce admin class and now she's working on the BIT team. Candidates really become connected with BIT. Networking and connection has always been a priority of Mike's to really make BIT the success that it is.
Mike Hess leans back in his chair.
Salesforce, amazing, amazing, amazing organization. Started out, again, going from tech to all of a sudden I'm running a staffing agency. Knew nothing about it. Started creating relationships, actually getting people placed. Within the first 18, 24 months, we were actually getting people placed in Fortune 100, Fortune 200 companies. Everybody's heard of, the digital divide. However, when you think that less than 10% of all websites on this planet are accessible to the hardest to serve digitally, which is the screen reader user or the braille display user, like less than 10% of websites are actually available, accessible to somebody like me. Right, and so that digital divide is it's a chasm. It's truly unattainable for somebody like me. So we're choosing Salesforce because I wanted to make sure, A, that it was technology that was, again, fairly ubiquitous, household name, but I also wanted to make sure that it had a solid understanding of accessibility. And so it really is a partnership. They actually listen to us, like we're trusted testers with this amazing platform that they have. And when we send over these accessibility blockers that they have, they prioritize them, they roadmap them, and they get those things out there in production, making sure that our community has that access to their platforms.
Virgin Pulse Senior Salesforce Administrator Claudine Warren.
Mike is such a visionary. It's really awesome to work with him. He has such a passion for this demographic. His story talks about how, he was working in technology and doing really well and was a success story, but he was really wondering, like, there was nobody else at work like him, and why is that? And so he came out of working full-time to start his nonprofit and to really help those who are blind and visually impaired to find employment, keep employment, maintain employment, and if they have to move from one job to another, have a guarantee that they actually can leave the workforce for a brief period of time and actually get back into the workforce.
BIT Salesforce Administrator Rebecca Letter.
I'm going to be honest with you. The business world is really missing out by not hiring more people with disabilities. BIT works with a group of clients who have experienced a lot in their lives. They have worked through challenges that, people outside of the disability community often don't really fully understand. They have grit, they have determination, they've pushed through those things, they've developed amazing problem-solving skills and a great work ethic along the way, and they're just an incredible pool of talent that really ought to be more in demand.
Michael Patelis.
Every step of my career, I've been questioned. No, we don't think you can do that. You'll probably be better just, being inside sales or something like that. And every time you proved us wrong. You proved us wrong. It happens time and time again. And it's time for people to be more positive about it rather than thinking that they're taking a risk. They're not taking a risk. They are adding value to their company.
Christy Schenderline.
The question is why should we hire a person with a disability, or why is it better? First of all, I'd say why not? Give me a reason why you think that person shouldn't be employed. And I guarantee you that everything that you come up with is something that we can negate. The incredible amount of loyalty that people with disabilities bring to a workforce.
Claudine Warren.
The hiring community really needs to get over the stigma of visual impairment. They need to look beyond what we can and cannot see and look to the person who can deliver. There's no reason in technology for a candidate not to be able to do their job. But really, at the end of the day, the employers need to have an open mind and be willing to learn, grow, and learn something from us to be able to actually give us an opportunity to succeed. I can't succeed if somebody doesn't give me a chance.
Jeffrey Ritz.
Much more adaptable. We're able to problem solve on the fly and get things done. At the same time, we can also help improve the experiences with your applications if that input is valued and listened to. If you're not taking advantage of the talent that's out there, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's that simple.
Mike Hess.
So for organizations that are wondering, I don't know how a blind person is going to do X, Y, or Z, stop focusing on that. Salesforce is the how. Salesforce is the reasonable accommodation. You need nothing more than to get over your loss aversion and to recognize that Salesforce has solved for this.
Insight Global VP, Matt Gonzalez.
Salesforce has really helped us as Insight Global understand how to start scaling this. They have done such a great job of understanding how to make things accessible, how to make technology accessible. I think a big thing that we can do at this point to really help BIT and Salesforce accomplish this goal of making all of these workplaces more inclusive for people that have some sort of disability is to really go out and evangelize it, right? We have the relationships with the customers out there that we can share this relationship with, that we can share what we're doing with, that we can give the skills to onboard someone that may be seeing impaired or hearing impaired and make it not so scary, right? Anything you've never done before is scary. Well, we can help coach people through that.
Benetech VP Michael Johnson.
So I can certainly say that BIT has been one of the best, if not the best, outsourcing contractor on a technology project that I've ever worked with in the almost 40 years I've been doing these things. So I don't even think of them necessarily as a group of people who have various abilities or disabilities. They're just professional, technical people. They work hard, they ask great questions, they give great answers, and they meet their commitments.
Kristen Smedley.
So the way this works is actually relatively simple because the pieces are already in play. It's just a matter of removing barriers. So when a staffing company like Insight Global is open to tapping into this incredible resource of a population, and people like BIT find the people to place them into these incredible opportunities that they're going after, a company like Salesforce then is the great equalizer that levels the playing field that everyone can have success. A blind or low vision person can come in with full accessibility and rise to all of their skills and their potentials to make an impact with the company. You don't gotta fix blindness, you have to fix the inaccessibility. And then you open up to a whole pool of talent that's going to give you the competitive edge.
Our view soars over Denver suburbs. A woman works at a laptop. Mike Hess.
The business case is simple. A recent Accenture Disability Equality Index report showcases that organizations that invest in people with disabilities within their organizations have 28% higher revenue, 2 times higher net operating income. The software is there to support people with disabilities. The talent is there to support your organization. What are you going to do about it?
Mike points at us. A title, The Greatest Equalizer. Level the playing field together. Join the movement at thegreatestequalizer.com. Logos, Salesforce, Insight Global, BIT, and Thriving Blind Academy. For BIT, Mike Hess, BVI founder and executive director, executive producer. Rebecca Letter, BVI Salesforce administrator. Michael Patelis, BVI VP of corporate engagement. Christy Schenderline, BVI Director of Talent. Airtai Shashko, BVI Salesforce Administrator. For Insight Global, Kyle Calloway, Associate Producer and Camera Operator. Adam Clark, Director. Holden Galatas, Associate Producer. Maham Khan, Line Producer. Graham McAlexander, Assistant Director and Camera Operator. Melody Sita, Associate Producer. Andrew Tashian, Director of Photography. Matt Gonzalez, Vice President of Sales. For Salesforce, Kayla Campfield, BVI Technical Writer of Accessibility Content. Sarah Mark, Workforce Development Programs Manager for People with Disabilities. For Thriving Blind Academy, Kristen Smedley, Co-Founder and Executive Producer. For Virgin Pulse, Claudine Warren, BVI Senior Salesforce Administrator. For CVS Health, Ethan Holliger, BVI Digital Accessibility Solutions Engineer. For Aetna, Jeffrey Reds, BVI Senior Accessibility Quality Engineering Lead. For Colorado Governor's Office of Information Technology, Teresa Montano, BVI Solutions Architect of Accessibility. For Benetech, Michael Johnson, Vice President of Content. For Women Incorporated, Mateus Averbudge, Director of Global Business Services. Rain Clark, BVI Salesforce Administrator. Audio description produced by Woman of Her Word and Cliff Hunt Sound. Narrated by Michelle Spitz. The Greatest Equalizer. Outtakes.
I didn't realize you guys had one of those actual...
Mike Hess moves his arms mimicking a film clapper.
I want to play with that later.
Kayla Campfield.
I remember what I said.
Ethan Holliger.
Can we just have all the issues happen? That's just like... I'm the...
Kristen.
When Michael made a commitment to chasing after...
She pauses, glancing at the sky. She startles. She tries to restart. Michael Patelis.
Yeah, because I can't see it very well. I don't know. Time out.
Mike Hess.
Are we doing the clicker thing? Nope. Oh, okay, all right. Does the blind guy know that he's wearing like a turquoise sock? Does he know that?
Matt Gonzalez claps. He turns dramatically to camera.
I'll do a real one now.
He walks off. Fade to black.